and welcome to the 2022 Hart House U of T Drama Festival. My name is Cassie Iacovelli, and I'm one of the Drama Festival coordinators this year. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the land on which Hart House and the festival are operating. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. We encourage you to connect with the ancestral stewards of your land and Indigenous art makers in your area. During the Hart House U of T Festival, original student-written one-act plays compete for 6 coveted awards during this Adjudicated festival, which also serves as an opportunity to perform on the legendary Norman Jewison Hart House stage. The Hart House U of T Drama Festival has spawned numerous performers who have gone on to become stars of stage and screen. Ted Fellows, David Garner, Arthur Hiller, to name a few. Over 80 years since its inception in 1936, and since Trevor Ryan resurrected it in 1993, the U of T Hart House Drama Festival has provided a high-profile showcase for up-and-coming theater talent, as well as an accessible venue for U of T students to perform and direct on the historic 100-year-old Hart House theater stage. Since 2002, the Drama Festival has only accepted original student-written plays, serving as a much-needed showcase for talented U of T playwrights. Our festival consists of the following shows: Together But Apart from the Trinity College Drama Society, Under a Scorpion Sky from BUC Follies, an independent production of Student Number 10, Black Stack from St. Mike's College Troubadours, A Terrible Beauty is Born from Victoria College Drama Society, and A Look Through a Window from UTM's English and Drama Society. This year, due to COVID-19 restrictions, all performances were masked and socially distanced. We want to thank you very much for watching this year's Hart House U of T Drama Festival. All of the students involved have put a great amount of work into their productions, and we would like nothing more than to share that with you. On behalf of the Drama Coalition, Hart House, and the U of T drama community, thank you and enjoy the shows. Brian Postalian is an arts administrator, educator, and creator born and raised in Takaranto by way of Armenia, Ireland, Wales, and Czech Republic. Brian is the founding artistic director of Recurrent Theatre, which is dedicated to creating work that reimagines gathering. Together with his company, he produced the sold-out Summerworks hit, The Smile Off Your Face, and most recently, the digital tour of New Societies, which was presented at Up in the Air Theater's Evolver Festival and Kingston's Kick and Push Festival in Into Crow's Theater's main season programming. Brian's work has been featured on Best of the Year's lists, Outstanding Direction, Best Production, nominating for Outstanding Direction, and continues to make collaborative work that redefines what we think of as theater. His work, co-creating Access Me with the Boys and Chairs, collective will be published by Playwrights Canada Press as part of Interdependent Magic, Disability Performance in Canada in spring 2022. Brian is a sessional instructor with the School of Performance at X University and has been a guest lecturer at the University of Toronto and Simon Fraser University. He completed a Master's of Fine Arts at Simon Fraser University School for the Contemporary Arts in Theatre, Game Design, and Interdisciplinary Performance Studies, and went to UTM for his undergrad theatre performance program. Fefu and his friends at UTM, he's the director of Fefu and her friends at UTM, and he's an alumni of the festival, where he produced 11 festival shows through the UTM.
Hi everyone, congratulations, wow, so incredible and momentous to be doing show live on a stage. That's no small feat. So, make sure you get like a pat on the back, either from a friend or just for yourself. That's, again, just so incredible. And also, the fact that this has been empty for 2 years. So, to just think about like all of the incredible work that has happened on the Hart House stage, and now your show is part of that. So in my kind of role as the adjudicator for the festival this year, I'm hoping not to come across as a kind of arbiter of judgment, but just as a responder to the work. Questions I have, things that I found meaningful, and hopefully to respond to perhaps questions you might have of the work itself and of the things that I say. So don't take my word as gospel. I know I am metaphorically up high, but that's just the nature of our setting and not how I'd like my words to come across. So what I'm going to do publicly is just share some of the things, again, that I think that I experienced, stuff that I found meaningful, questions that emerged, and just a couple opinions, in a way that I would hope would excite you to get back into the rehearsal room, to go back into work. And for those of us watching, wherever the camera is, there it is, oh God, how can we get excited about the work? What kind of questions can we bring to it that further deepen our understanding of it? So this was Together But Apart. I really found quite a lot of meaning as we tried to consider connection and the human need over the past 2 years in this play, really trying to get us to think about what it means to connect both physically and how that can also happen virtually. And there were some really, I thought, beautiful uses of video when the actors and the characters were on stage, and then also behind them there were moments that were being reflected also on screen. The one image that really comes to mind is the father and daughter moment when the two are on stage here, and then their kind of heads are touching, or they're somehow next to each other. And this tension that emerges visually for us to see these sort of dual images, both of the virtual and of the physical. And when that happened, I thought, oh, this is really exciting. How can more of that come into the work? Some of the questions, I think, that come up to the surface are really that, again, the relation between that pre-recorded video and the live action on stage. How can we dig into that further? What did it mean to kind of witness in the audience pre-recorded video and not have live actors? And then what happens when you have that video and live actors present? And I would encourage you to try to question that further. Where could there have been more moments of the two of those lining up more? How could that tension been further and further explored? The relationship with the mother and the daughter feel really central to the story, and in particular to reconcile the needs of a mother who is an essential care worker, a nurse, and the young person, Riley, who is trying to find joy and doing that through art. I think I'm curious, does more of the play want to focus on that dynamic because it felt so central, and the struggle that it's framed by and exacerbated by the pandemic, that the catalyst of the two of them coming to clash in that way is because of the circumstances of COVID-19. We're witnessing more of how do we see their relationship fall apart and come back together in the way that it reconciles in the end. Or is there another central question in the play that wants to draw more of our focus throughout the story? How perhaps can we just try to cull in all of that material that is there in the play so that perhaps our focus can be moved through a couple central storylines in that way? I think I could have also used a bit more clarity on time and place. Where and when are we in history exactly? Is there a direct relation to the progression of the pandemic, the different variants that come out, how much time passes from the beginning to the end of the play? And also the play highlights the needs of being in person and the power of being virtual. And so Josh says kind of later in the play, being digital isn't the same, which I'm sure we can all relate to. Are there moments more specifically that can highlight that sentiment? So not just by saying it, but by showing, and in a way that provides this conflict and tension clearly articulated. So we can see the physical staging of why it isn't the same, which can then be matched equally with how powerful being virtual can be, which you have at the end of the two of them, even despite being apart, find a moment to connect in that way. So I think just to have the kind of opposite swing on that end of what makes it really hard and then what makes it also quite beautiful. I thought this play, A Look Through a Window, felt like it was about a pair of characters who are unsure of who they are, questioning who they were and where they are now. And in particular, this production, time and place are loose. And the way memory lingers, emerges, and progresses is meaningful in how the stage picture and the physical work pulls us through this. I was struck by the poignant line one of the characters says, "I was scared what they might find underneath, even I don't know what that is." I think I'm like paraphrasing. But I felt like this distilled the feeling down so precisely that the character knows something is wrong but is having trouble articulating it. And there was some solid work from the actors, revealing a deep sense of vulnerability as their questioning spiraled. So I'm curious to know why these two people? What is the relation between the two that asks us to consider them in tension with one another? And why two? Why just two? What would happen if there were three or only one? And what is the significance of the two, of these two? I wanted to know more about the circumstances of the world together that these two, we start to hear their internal lives. And I wonder where these characters can also find humor and levity in their struggle. Or are we only experiencing them at their most vulnerable and tumultuous states? These worlds are of their own making, so I'm curious, as a provocation, how well do these characters know themselves, and how flawed are their own memories and reflections? Are they reliable narrators? Probably not. They're in their 20s. First up was Under a Scorpion Sky. I thought there were some really lovely staged images in the written play itself. Part of it, there's sheets turn into curtains, and the duvet becomes soil. So I'm curious later to hear, I didn't see those make it to the stage tonight, but there were some really great things in the writing that I just wanted to acknowledge. And I thought there was some really great shadow work tonight, and physical work by the actors playing the mother and the father, and through the action of the play. Really clear listening, I thought, between the actors, Joan and Evelyn, who were allowing themselves to be in conversation with each other. And those Christmas lights, very nice DIY touch. Theater is all about, like, what resources do we have? And I thought that was aesthetically really a nice addition to the kind of dreamscape that you were setting up in that world. A response to the script, I felt like it was leading us towards these two characters who can't trust their ability to love because it will hurt them. On one hand, there's Joan. Her parents are going through a messy divorce. And then on the other, there's Evelyn, who's witnessing her mother grieving about the death of her father. And the two of these characters, they eventually come together, but the circumstances and the personal challenges they overcome to do so at times were very sudden, and I could have used a bit more clarity on that character history and the motivation to do so. Is Joan fearful of loving because she's afraid of becoming like her parents? And is Evelyn afraid of opening up because of becoming like her mother, falling in love and losing the person she loves? I felt like the play was headed there. But I wasn't sure. Then another thing that comes up is when you have characters become narrators, especially about not their own lives. You have both Joan and Evelyn come up and talk about their parents' lives. I wonder, how reliable are these stories? And can that be investigated further? How much is Evelyn and Joan making up, exaggerating, or downplaying about their parents' relationships? Are they really authentic portrayals of their parents, or are they idealistic, or almost dreamlike, as some of the themes that emerge in the play? Some smaller things, I thought the rules that you set up in the space with the hedge in the middle. At one point, a character, in order to cross over, had to sit and then kind of roll themselves over, and then at other times they would just walk in front of it. And so just to pay attention to when you set up those stage rules, when are you going to adhere to them, and when you break them, how can that be really meaningful in terms of letting the audience know what it means to break those rules. Student number 10. This play felt like it was about the loss of a student that leaves us with a lot more questions than it gives us answers. And there was some really lovely lighting work off the top. It set up a really clear environment, a nice tone. I could understand where we were, what was happening, pace. And a nice adjustment on the fly, lighting the mother and the father midway through that scene. Good handiwork. And I thought there was some really nice use of live music. That's always really difficult to bring in. And in particular, before the words came, when it was just music, I felt like we, as audience, had to make sense of what it meant outside of the narrative that was really clearly laid out. And we were given trust as an audience to try to work something out of what did it mean for this motif to come in, how does it play in context of the narrative. And I really enjoyed that was put on me to try and go, what is this, and why is it there? Again, before those words came. And I wanted to have more of that offering of, here is a puzzle piece, you figure out how it fits in this story. One of the challenges in plays with narrators like this one is there's always the question of how do you decide how much to tell versus how much to show. Because we're on stage and it's theater, so I'm here with my body, and what's the distinction between the narrator telling us Joelle's story and the moments where perhaps we can be shown it, or when it's an intentional choice for us to not have information and for us to be shown information. Some pieces of clarity I wondered, was Joelle a ghost? Was she a fragment of student number one's making? How, again, in terms of the reliableness of this figment, was she present? And does the ending have student one, number one, finally grieving by acknowledging her dead classmate? Is it about the denial and acknowledgement of death? Is student number one implicated in the death somehow? I think I'm unclear of the history between student number one and Joelle, and between the two that lend to this moment, that lead to the moment with the guitar. So I think there could just be some more teasing out of that relationship, and in particular, what is the piece after, in terms of some of those earlier questions. Black stack. I thought there was some really lovely water projection work that was off the top of the show that blended really well with the atmosphere. It's very difficult at times to get projection and what's happening on the stage to feel really cohesive, and that was really clear. And it felt almost like we were kind of in an aquarium or in a fishbowl, and it began to tie into kind of Helen's love for Moby Dick. And I was wondering if that motif was a metaphor for Helen drowning, maybe in the midst of her work. So I'm not sure, but I would love to hear more from the team later on about perhaps what that water imagery was. There was some really clear use of period touches. Hopefully you all knew what a corded phone and an old Macintosh computer was. That set us in the early 2000s, so thank you for that little throwback. And really solid work, I thought, from the performance cast and also specifically from Helen and Emma. Simple, present, clear work with the text. The theatrical work, I thought, with the bed turning into the ship, it was nice to see you break the rules of the world that you had set up, that you weren't just IMing while at the computer, but that it could happen in a more gestured landscape. And so I would push you to continue to allow yourself to continue to break the rules you set up, because there were some moments like in the transition to scene 2 with the bird soundscape that emerged in the green background, where it started to become unclear where we were and when we were. The virtual avatars of the women, the ones that kind of come in on the side, and then also, of course, of Emma, who speak to Helen, presumably are of Helen's making. And as the play progresses, and Helen gets to know these women more, I wonder, do the visual representations of these women shift? Do they become perhaps more and more stereotyped as the time goes on, or do they become more complex? Because these women are avatars and figments, how much are we looking into Helen's creation of them and either her idealization of them or her utter dismissal of them? One idea I'd really like to challenge is when I think the character Sean says, "I'm not paying you to feel bad for them." And that's the impression I think the play presses on us, that we're supposed to feel bad for these women. And there's a difference between the worldview of the play and the worldview of Helen. And so I was wondering, is the play telling us that these women are desperate, or is Helen telling us? Or is Sean telling us? And how can that provocation be further complicated? At times, the play was telling me, these women are desperate, and I wasn't sure that was the case. I thought perhaps it was Helen's undertaking, and that is what perhaps undoes her at the end. A Terrible Beauty is Born. Amazing, clear, energetic relationships off the top of the show. I thought it really set the tone and the environment well, and the dynamic between those four characters immediately. I knew where we were, I knew how these characters were in relation to each other. Super, super clear. And I thought the scene work was really solid. Our place was clear. And though the projections aided in this, I thought that the physicality, the set, the text work was clear enough to indicate where we were, that perhaps we didn't need the projections. And this felt like a play about love and fighting for what it is you believe in. And so I wonder, as with many things in love, how much more can be left unsaid? How much more do these characters say more by not saying the thing that is that they're feeling? Because it feels as if Declan is going off to war for love, and so to stay would betray this. And that the most powerful gesture in Declan's head is to fight for his country, and in doing so, fight for the one that he loves. While Rory's fight was less clear for me, because at times I thought maybe it was too easy, and what is the risk or danger in Rory or in either of the men revealing to each other their love, especially at that time, in that period. To aid the context of the rebellion, I wondered how you could use those transitions as also storytelling. Perhaps could we see between each scene the rebellion taking place? Or how do we witness time pass? That everything we witness on stage is part of the story. And what else are the environmental circumstances that put pressure on these young people in their lives? So how can you aid and support what the text is doing with other theatrical gestures and staging that can take place in there? Also, big challenge, performing an Irish play without Irish accents. It's a big choice, and very noble, especially if you're not able to fulfill the requirements an accent needs. But then you have to think, how do you accommodate the difference between the kind of three different accents that the play asks for or oscillates around: the Irish, American, and English. And so that just sets you up for another challenge you then have to tackle if you're going to go, okay, we're not going to speak in an Irish accent.
The following named awards will be given as part of the festival: the IATSE Local 58 Award for Technical Achievement, the Donald Sutherland Award for Best Performance, the Bessey Award for Excellence in Stage Management, the Robert Gill Award for Best Direction, the Robertson Davies Award for Playwriting, the President's Award for Best Production. As well, the adjudicator at their discretion may award up to 5 certificates of merit. There will be one Audience Choice Award per episode by preferential ballot. These will be an online survey to collect responses for 2 weeks after the festival release dates. The Audience Choice Award will be announced in April.
Thank you, everyone who is tuning in, who witnessed either some, part, or all of the productions this year. It has been really heartwarming and so encouraging to see such talented work by young artists on the stage, given the past 2 years, and this being the first semi-in-person drama festival since Hart House had to close its doors because of COVID-19. So it's been really special to be part of this reopening and hybrid situation that we're in. I also have the honor not only of being the festival adjudicator for the past 4 days. I don't know if you're going to know that on YouTube, but it's been 4 days. And I have the honor of also announcing the winners of the awards from the festival this year. I'm excited to announce several awards of merit and to some incredible work that's happened over the past week here. The first award of merit is Outstanding Ensemble Performance to the cast of A Terrible Beauty is Born from Victoria College Drama Society. The second award of merit is for Outstanding Achievement in Community Building for the cast and crew of Student 10. The third award of merit is an honorable mention for playwriting to Julie Rapai for Black Stack from St. Michael's College Troubadours. And the fourth award of merit is an honorable mention for set and lighting design for the design team of Under the Scorpion Sky from UC Follies. A new award we have this year is the Janet Bessey Award for Excellence in Stage Management. And the first recipient for this ever goes to St. Michael's College Troubadours for the play Black Stack and the stage manager Helen Ho. The IATSE Local 58 Award for Technical Achievement goes to St. Michael's College Troubadours for the play Black Stack, and this goes to the design team of that play. The Donald Sutherland Award for Best Performance, which also comes with the ability to write a personal letter to Donald Sutherland, goes to St. Michael's College Troubadours, to Abby Akinlade for her role as Emma in Black Stack. The Robert Gill Award for Best Direction goes to Victoria College Drama Society, to Valeria Venturo for A Terrible Beauty is Born. The Robertson Davies Playwriting Award goes to Victoria College Drama Society, to Therese Nakarato for A Terrible Beauty is Born. And last, the President's Award for Best Production goes to Victoria College Drama Society for A Terrible Beauty is Born. A huge round of congratulations to the recipients tonight, and also to the entire festival participants for your work on the stage. It does not go unappreciated, and I hope you are all proud of the work you exhibited. Thank you all for watching the festival this year, and that's it from me.